So today joining me is the wonderful Heather Barry. Ta-da.
Hello.
From Effective Entrepreneurs. So if you don't know anything about Effective Entrepreneurs, I'll put it in the link and you can find out about Heather's networking and not networking, it's training, isn't it?
Training, it's support. Support for entrepreneurs who do their own thing, awesome at it, but let's make it even more effective.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've been practicing your pitch.
I've been practicing. That's what we do.
And today's topic, we're going to be talking about confidence. Let me just go back, let's backtrack just a little bit for here, because we just decided, didn't we? And this is, do you know what, this is what I want with all of my YouTube. It's just like these, and this is me, the organised chaos life that I actually lead. And I think that's why we connect as well, because the organised chaos part of your life. And do you know what, that is okay.
Yeah, I think the word you're looking for is random.
It's like organised chaos.
Well, there's organised chaos. But
random organised chaos.
Yeah, but we were just sitting here, it was just like, should we do a podcast? So I recorded a podcast, interviewed you. Do you want to do YouTube? Yeah, let's do that. And here we are.
And here we are. Beautiful village of Wiltshire, where I actually live. Heather's been with me for 5 days.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going back tonight. Oh, she's going back tonight, and but you're going to return, aren't you?
Yeah. I am. I mean, why would you want to come back to this? It is. You can just hear. The silence, it's just extraordinary. It's just the water, it's all you can hear, and it's so beautiful. And there were moments where it was a bit weird because a bit isolated.
Yeah.
You were poorly for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like, crikey, I'm in a place where I can't effectively get out because I didn't have.
We took away a passport and we locked in the room.
And so it was just me and the mountains and the water, and it was, but you. That's the space where you learn stuff about yourself, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you see all these adverts, don't you, on Facebook and on different types of places, you know, and they put this cabin in the middle of nowhere. Who would be paid £1 million to live like this? And people put on there, I wouldn't need paying, you know, I would pay. But actually, you really have to dig deep inside yourself to find out, to be comfortable with yourself for the whole day.
Yeah, and I had stuff to do, and I've still got, if I needed it, I've got WhatsApp, I've got Zoom, I've got, so I could reach out to other people, I could connect with other people, but it was just like, sometimes it just takes you to a place, and I don't know, I got sort of thinking about something, and it took me to a place that was really hard, and it was just like, okay, I've got to do something with this, because I can't sit here and be miserable, because how can you be miserable in this beautiful place?
Exactly.
But it's that kind of going, actually, this is part of who I am. This is part of my makeup. Why is this bringing out this particular aspect of me? And to then talk about it. And yes, I spoke to someone back home about it. But it was just like, I wouldn't. And yes, I might have got that insight somewhere else. Of course I could have.
Where did you get that from? You're just figuring out, where did you get that insight from? You know, being on your own. I think the next day when I came over, I was feeling better then, and I came over, and you said that you actually struggled. And do you know what? You're not the minority. There are quite a few people who have come here and have struggled being isolated into this environment, and it's beautiful. But it's that calming down, being comfortable and confident in your own space, and you're doing nothing.
Because it's weird, because I think we are so busy doing, and everything is instant, and it's social media, and it's got to be this, and I've got to respond. And I'm, as you know, there's a touch of ADHD in me, and I'm quite extrovert, and everybody knows me, kind of sees me as this sort of big, bold, gobby person. No. But actually, there is that introvert bit of me. There is that bit of me, and we all need space and time. And the last 2.5 years have been so fucking weird.
Crazy, yeah.
And in some ways, yes, we were on our own more than we ever wanted to be. But there was always you could always connect with somebody on Zoom. You could phone them. You could do something. For most of us who had that opportunity, for which eternally grateful. But in a way, it's almost like now being on the other side of that enforced thing to have a holiday. I haven't done that for a while.
Yeah, who's had a holiday, in the last 2.5 years?
Yeah. But it's so different to any other trip that I've taken in the last however many years.
Yeah.
so yes, I've had a week with friends in Spain and do things like that. But this is a unique experience. And then I got to meet the dogs. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But just stop and default is to work or go on social media or switch on Netflix.
That's your comfort, isn't it? That's your comfort.
It's easy.
Finding something to do with your hands so you can read.
Yeah.
And I think we are pushed and pressured into doing something.
Yeah. And
if you're not doing something, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Why? I can't just be still.
Yeah.
And I think some of it, as I've been meditating more recently in the last couple of years, and there's lots of stuff around mindfulness, and actually, I have realised that there's situations that have come up in life and in business where previously I would have like and swear and curse and jump up and down and yes, I eventually sorted. Whereas I've had a few situations recently where something like really annoying, something's broken and it shouldn't at a coffee event or something. And it's really annoying because you've got people queuing up. I'm losing money.
And they're all tapping their toes and they're all like,
coffee.
How long is this going to be? Come on,
and I
sort
just
it out.
go, really sorry, that thing's just broken. I'll sort it. Could you come back in 10 minutes? Yeah. And they all go, yeah, all right. Yeah. So it's not a problem.
Communication as well.
Communication. But also for me, not completely losing it has been really nice, and other people have sort of noticed it.
Yeah.
And I will always have that slightly, fiery vibrantness about me, and I'm never going to lose that.
No, don't do that. That's you.
I know.
Exactly. Yeah, don't lose it.
But I think in those situations, and I think that then this is then that next level of that is like, can I take that and stop?
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you, but in lockdown there was almost that need to keep going, because I think otherwise we'd have
gone absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Now, we were lucky here in lockdown because we're in Sweden and we didn't lock down. But I still felt it. I still felt something, and it made me quite empathetic to the whole world who are out there, especially people who are stuck in apartments, you know. So what I was going to say as well is going back to losing it and making those mistakes as well, and this is where confidence comes in as well, is that people are afraid of making mistakes because of being criticised. That line of people with in your coffee bar, you could have just like, I'm going to put on a show that I'm really heaved off because this is broken, but actually why should we actually do that? It's with us with the dog sledding as well. It's like, if we try to cover everything that may go wrong, you'd be forever writing in your risk assessment, and you'd spend forever writing forms what could go wrong. It's actually how you deal with it at that time, how you deal with it in a calm manner, because if you're calm in a situation, then whoever your guests are, they're gonna that energy is going to bounce off from you to them, and if somebody is annoyed, which some people can be annoyed, then you can't do anything about it. Things happen.
And I think that's the thing, is that I look prime example is this event I did a couple of months ago, and something broke. Now this particular thing has never broken before. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've kind of seen pretty much everything, and then this thing broke. It's just a pipe broke, and I'm like, and I didn't lose it, which was really good.
Well done, I'm proud of you.
I know. And I fixed it by literally getting a lollipop stick, a little stirrer, some gaffer tape from the person and again, that's that thing we were talking about earlier, is the connection, communication, collaboration that you have with other people who are seemingly competitors, but they're not. You're in a community of people and you all help each other. And if you have good relationships with those people, it's just like, anybody got any gaffer tape? Yes. Anybody got
Absolutely. You're building that community around you.
Literally wrapped it around, did the thing. It was a total bodge, but it worked.
And I absolutely love things like that. I love it. I absolutely love it because...
But that's never in a manual, is it?
No, it's never in a manual. And that's how that's old school. That's old school stuff, you know. And especially for like Rich and I, who've actually lived in the mountains, no water, no electricity, and things would go wrong, and you're on your own, and you just have to make things work. And it's taught me in life not to be so stressed about things going wrong, and it give me the confidence to say, okay, this has gone wrong, I'm sorry, you know, we're going to fix it, and then we'll move on, and to be calm in that situation. My favourite sort of is it called an anagram, is fail. It's fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody fails. Fail is first attempt in learning.
I didn't know that one.
Didn't you know that one?
I love it. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, there's no such thing as failing. It's not fail. It's first attempt in learning. And if you haven't failed, then for me, you haven't tried hard enough.
Yeah.
And that's not for me. You know, if people don't want to learn, they don't, and they're happy in their comfort zone, that's fine too. But for me personally, if I haven't failed at something, oh, do you know what? I'm going to tell you a story now. It's about my very first live on Facebook. It's still on there, so if you want to go, scroll down to my very first live, okay? I thought I had it all covered. I got some information from other people because I wanted 2 people on the live. It was horrendous. But I left that on.
Yeah.
I left it on because, as we say, you say it and I say it as well, you know, perfection is the steal of time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
It just has to be done, and just get out there, and you learn as you go along. And it's like your business and my business as well. Is that when I started with the dog sledding, or if you've seen us, oh my gosh, we were like running around like headless chickens, putting this dog on this line and that dog on that line, and then a harness would break and a dog would run off, you know, and it was just like all over the place. You know, now we've got it done, and it would take an hour and a half to hook the dogs up.
It's like every business. It's like, yeah, make coffee now. I can do, you know,
can make
I have
coffee
a record
with your eyes closed.
I know, I can do it with my eyes closed. I have a record of 657 coffees in 10 hours. That's a coffee a minute for 10 hours that I made.
That is awesome.
Which is awesome.
But what at the beginning?
The very first event, actually at the same venue, different event, but same venue some years earlier, I did on my own.
Yeah.
Admittedly, the 657, I did have some help.
Yeah.
But the first event I did on my own.
Yeah.
And I think I sold, I don't know, 250 coffees.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute nightmare, and I didn't know where to get the water and the electricity and this, and a friend came round and went, oh, I'll go buy you some lunch, because my blood sugar was like dying.
Yeah.
And I was, give me some food, anything here. I threw 20 quid at her, go get me some food.
Yeah.
And I literally got to the end, and I sort of semi-collapsed. It took me like 5 hours to make 250 coffees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. And in fact, no, it was more than that, because that's actually relatively quick. But it was, the stress was absolutely through the roof. And then you learn a process, and you kind of go, oh, well, next time I need to do that. So
evaluate it every single time whenever you do it.
It's value the experience of, oh my God, that wasn't very good, but I had fun. And you talk about this thing is your why.
Fun, isn't it? You
and
know?
yeah, for some people, standing around making coffee would be like, why would you want to do that? Honestly, I've done many, many, many jobs in my life, and it is still to this day the best thing in the world for me. Put me in next to a little coffee bar, queue of people at an event. The busier I am, the better. Chatting away, bit of a thing. And if you're super busy, you're kind of having a conversation while you're making a latte. It's just the best thing. And I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned about other people. I've learned what I love in life. And it's a simple. I'm just making somebody a beautiful cup of coffee. It's not intellectually demanding.
But it's not just making it, isn't it? And it's just it's like for us. It's everything about it that you actually you're surrounding with it. You know, and you get value out of it. And for me, whatever job I have done, right, apart from there was this one job that I did. I was a cashier in a supermarket. I love all cashiers out there. I love you.
I have enormous respect for them, because it's just like, yeah.
I will never give you a hard time, but wow, you are that last port of call, you know. And if the customer has had a hard time going around that supermarket, the cashier gets it, you know. But that was the awfulest job that I've ever done. But you know, I've done cleaning here in Sweden, and it's what you actually make of it. It's connecting with the customer and making that customer happy. The people that are coming on holidays, making them happy. So it's actually putting that why in it. Why are you actually doing it? To make it better for yourself. And that helps you then, you know, to build your confidence in a job that you may not like at that moment, but you can actually develop. And I remember saying to my son when he was younger, because he wanted to be a farmer, You know, and we all know farmers, you know, they are property rich, aren't they?
Yeah.
And he was told by a lot of farmers, you'll never be rich if you're going to be a farmer. Why are we telling people that? Why are we telling our kids you'll never be rich if you're going to be this or that? Because you can make out of whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You can make, if you want to make money, you will make money out of anything.
Yeah. But it's also about how you value things.
Yes.
So for me, you know, standing around in the field making coffee doesn't make a fortune, despite what some people think.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a fortune, but it makes me unbelievably happy.
Yeah.
And I think that's that thing. It's like it's how we value. It's how people are valued generally in the world. And we could go down the politics route, but maybe not.
No, don't go down that route.
But it is about how we value people and what they contribute to the world.
Yeah.
And how we value ourselves and what we contribute. And again, when you're looking at your business, it's like, what value do I add to that? So both of us do, you know, we work with coaching and confidence and ideas and so on. It's like, how has their life changed because we've worked together?
Oh yeah.
I mean, how awesome is that? How is, you know, it doesn't, so whatever you do, if you are adding value and if people see the value in that, then that's awesome.
That's your why, isn't it? That is your why, to see the people see the value in, you know, in what you've actually done for them, and actually they've done it for themselves. It's just helping them to make sure to see that they've actually done those things for themselves. And and I think I remember years ago I used to work as believe it or not, a few more pounds have gone on. But I used to work as an aerobics instructor, and you know, don't laugh.
No, I did it as well.
Did you do it? We've learned something new about each other.
There we go.
Yeah, and I remember this one lady. She stood up in the class and she was crying. It was quite emotional. She said, you know, we don't realise what Claire is going through in her day-to-day life, because she always turns up with a smile on her face and always ready to listen to us. But I want you to all, it came to me the other night that we've got to look after Claire too. And I've never forgotten that. That was like 25 years ago. I've never forgotten that, you know, is that the impact that I had because I smiled at people.
Yep.
You know, and that helps people going throughout their day, and they might be having a really rubbish time, and it's like, you know, when you're serving people in coffee bars, you know, how many people have been there, you know, what do you want?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I
It doesn't make your day. You want people to make your day.
My coffee bar was at a train station, the main one, and that was for 10 years I did that. And again, why would you get up and stand in the snow? You get up at 4 in the morning for 10 years and do this. It's a mad thing to do. But for me, again, it was the impact that had. And I tell you, by the end of 10 years, you know everybody's story and you've been there and you've supported someone who's just...
You're like the train station psychologist.
I was. And you really get to know people. And I was literally part of everybody's life. And it, you know, I honestly saw my job and my role there, as well as having a good time and selling nice coffee, was just to make that small contribution to everybody's life. And I said good morning to everybody.
Oh yeah, you have to say
whether
good morning.
they bought a coffee from me or not. Yeah. Some people in 10 years didn't buy a coffee from me, but we said good morning every morning and we had a chat. And there were some people I became friends with.
Maybe they didn't like coffee, and so what?
So it doesn't matter. I'm make my own home. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And it was to kind of have that whole thing, and I really understood what it was about that business and about myself. It's just like, it is about having an impact. It's supporting somebody to just have be better, have a better time, be more awesome. You know.
I just thought of something now. What is it with those people who actually make the effort to come up to you and say, like for us, like the dog said, I've got my own dogs at home, I don't need you.
Yeah.
I make my own coffee at home, I don't need you. Why do you think, I'm putting you on the spot here now, it's just coming to my head. Why do you think those people actually make the effort?
Because I think they think I'm like fleecing the world because I want to charge, you know, £2 or whatever it is for a cup of tea that will cost, you know, 20p to make it at home.
Yeah.
And I did have a very long-winded conversation on a very busy day with a lady who wanted China cup, and she wanted whole milk, and she wanted loose leaf tea. It was just ridiculous. And I'm like watching my queue get bigger and bigger. Yeah. And then I finally went, you know, I've been very polite, and madam, would you like the cup of tea? Yeah. And she said, And I said it'll be £1. I think it was £1.70 at the time.
Ooh,
And it was, it doesn't cost me that much to make it at home. And by this point, I was very close to losing it completely. And I just went, no, madam, but it does not come out of a £15,000 kettle.
Yeah.
What my piece of kit costs.
Yeah.
And I think people just don't think.
Yeah.
And they, as I say, it's like, I'm entitled to earn a living. You do whatever your job is.
Yeah.
And all your skill and all the rest of it. What brings me to that moment to make that beautiful cup of coffee is the fact that I, did a completely, I was an accountant. I've done all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
I have all this skill and thing and knowledge and whatever, and I've built this business.
Yeah.
Somebody's trusted me to serve their clients because, of course, at an event, I serve the clients of the people who's invented it.
Yeah.
So all of these things, and in that moment, somebody has gone, Heather, please could you serve a cup of coffee? And that, all of that, everything has brought me to that moment. Yeah. And it's like, would you like it?
Do you want it, or do you not? It's just so interesting. It's just so interesting.
You're very welcome to go back home and make yourself a cup of tea. Really, it's just your £2.
Yeah.
Don't need
doesn't matter. Yeah,
Don't
it doesn't matter. It's really interesting, isn't it? Why they want to actually make the effort. It's like with us as well, with the dogs, it's like when we give the price of how much a dog sled tour is, and they go, for 4 people, I go, no, per person. Oh, and it's quite, and then I just think
it comes back to that value thing.
It comes back to that value and how much you value yourself, And at the beginning, I would actually feel guilty for charging that much money. And how many people have actually felt guilty of charging people? But you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel guilty.
Is that actually
I shouldn't say shouldn't either. I don't like that word. I don't like the should word. Yeah. Don't should all of yourself.
Don't should all of yourself. And I think the thing is I having spent time, it's gorgeous and it's sunny. So you're not doing dog sled tours right now because there ain't no snow.
But guess what?
So
you still have to feed them.
9 months of the year, you have to feed them, house them there. And there's as you say, there's 50 something of them, and I met them yesterday.
58 of them, yeah.
And even when they're
it's 24 hours a day.
Exactly.
You're on call that you're looking after these dogs.
The cost of that, the cost of having them and nurturing them and training them and all of that throughout the year enables you to do that thing and that moment.
Yeah.
The cost of me, I am not making coffee 24/7.
No.
Yeah, and this is again where people's value things, and sometimes you just need to point it out to them, and then they get it. But I don't like to sit there and have to justify my existence. No. But sometimes you just need to kind of go, hello.
Yeah.
Could you just think here for just a moment?
Yeah, it's really interesting. But this comes down to the point where it's like having the confidence to communicate with people and putting in your boundaries, but also is to be that person that can actually communicate quite wisely and explain, because the people don't understand. And what we've got to understand, as deliverers, is that everybody's got their own little world that they actually live in, and how we actually get that over with. And one of the massive learning curves that I've had, especially being in Sweden, and I don't know if anybody out there has emigrated, but when I emigrated here, I thought everybody was the same. I'm so naive, honestly. I thought everybody was the same.
Culturally?
Yeah, I didn't realise culture shock.
Yeah.
Wow, wasn't I shocked?
Yeah.
I didn't get it until I'd done it. And I thought everybody was the same. And, and Swedish people are completely opposite to Welsh people. With Swedish people, you have to build a trust. With a Welsh person, you know my life story with the first 5 minutes that you actually met me. So it's that little things that make a huge difference, And one of the things that I've actually learned is, just because I'm saying it and it's my truth, is that, and I want to get it over to you, but I can't get it over to you because you're not understanding, because you've got your own truth. It's just let it go.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, is it's like, I don't want to ram it down your throat. And I think also in terms of how we are, I don't want to have to justify my existence. I don't want to have to justify why I charge £3 for something, or £3,000 for my program, or whatever it might be. All that has to happen is that the person who's buying it has to see the value, and it's how we communicate that. That they see that. And if they choose not to, and if they don't want to spend that, or they don't want to pay for it, that's fine too. And I'm not going to judge somebody because they don't want to pay that. That's fine. I've been into places and I kind of go, you want to charge me 20 quid for a what? And I'm like, I don't want to pay that.
Shall I say my £9 pork roll the other week? You know,
whatever.
I'm not bitter at all about that way, you know.
But yeah, I was somebody looked at the menu the other day and they wanted to charge 20 quid for a cauliflower steak. I'm going, it's a slice of cauliflower.
Yeah.
It might be very nicely done, but it's 20 quid for a slice of cauliflower. And but I chose not to spend that.
Yeah.
And that's my choice.
And that's fine too.
And they can, and I get, you know, the place where it happens to be. It's an expensive village, you know, and I kind of get, and it's the ambiance and all of this. But that was my choice.
Yeah.
To kind of go, actually, I don't want to spend that. I will go somewhere else, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should have to justify our existence. And I think I've definitely grown much more into this thing of just being, this is what I want to charge, and I don't want to sit there and have to, oh well, I'll discount it. I'm happy to add some value and so on. But this is what I charge, because the impact that this is what I do can have on your life.
Yeah.
And if you see that and you get that, then you will come on board.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
and is
that's
that your
fine
word of today? You know, you don't have to justify yourself. And this is something that I said to Richard earlier on, my husband. And I said he was emailing, and we're going to wrap up by here as well soon, because I think we're on. I don't know what time we're on. We're on 26 minutes. Yeah. And
we can talk for hours.
Yeah. We talked for days, you know. And you know, he was sending an email to a customer, and he was sending the email, and he was going to put because. And I said, you don't have to, because you don't have to defend yourself, you know. This is the way it is, and people have to respect you enough that this is the way it is, and this is how it's going to work for you. You either come into my world or you don't come into my world. And that's not being like,
it's not arrogant.
It's not arrogant, but it's just like, accept me for who I am, accept you for who you are, accept you for who you are, because we're all really great people on this world, and we're in, you know, this is one of my biggest things that I was saying over COVID. We are in this together. We're on this world together. And like you said, you know, we may be conflicting in businesses, but we don't see it that way. We work together. There's thousands of people out there, but we're in this together. And so one last thing, what is your little bit of tip of the day?
Oh God, this is a little.
Am I putting you on the spot?
Yeah, you always are.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
You could do it.
Honestly, and I was thinking, for me, it's this thing about, it's that sort of ikigai of, there's like, do the thing you're passionate about, that people are willing to pay for, and they kind of want to buy, and you have confidence to get out into the world. But I think what's really important, and I've learned this, is like being proud of what you do, being proud of the outcome that you deliver, and not in a pridey, boastful way. Yeah. It's just like, so for me, that is the confidence to kind of go, actually, what I've managed to deliver for somebody has been incredible, and get that person to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So, because sometimes some people can, but also don't be shy to talk about it yourself. Kind of go, this is what happened. This is what I delivered.
And it was amazing, and I enjoyed it, and it was like, and I done a really good job today.
Yeah. And it's like, don't be.
Even
be shy
if
of that.
that good job, right, is just getting out to bed.
Yeah. Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Don't be shy of your success.
Yeah.
Don't be shy to value the contribution that you make to the world. Yeah. There we go. That's
I love it. Don't be shy of your contribution to the world. I love it.
There we go.
Thank you, Heather Barry.
Thank you, Clarice.
All details will be in the comments below. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye for now.